Shri Sai Ram. Welcome to Sri Sathya Sai Loka Seva Gurukulam video session. You have heard about Greek and Roman literary contributions. Similar to that, in India also, we have literary contributions. About that, we are going to discuss today Sangam Age. The word Sangam means an assembly of scholars of literary figures held under the royal patronage of Pandyan kings of Madurai. So, there was a literary conference which was held under the patronage of Pandyan kings. It is called as Sangam Age. And it is believed that there were three types of Sangam, three different periods we had this Sangam period. Early Tamil literature comprised works such as Tolkapiyam. It's a grammatical work. This Tolkapiyam is a grammatical work, Tamil grammatical work written by Tolkapiyar. The 8 anthologies, that is Ettu Thogai, and 10 Idylls, that is Pattu Pattu. The 18 minor works and the 3 epics. So, see, in this Tamil literary works, it is been divided into 8 anthologies, and also 10 Idylls, that is Pattu Pattu, Ettu Thogai. And the 18 minor works has been written. Not only that, epics were also there. Actually, it is believed that 5 epics were there and 2 are missing, because initially it was through orally, it was transmitted through different generation. Later on, they started writing and recording it. And now at present, we are familiar with 3 epics. It is Silappadigaram, Mani Meghale and Shivanga Sindhamani. This Silappadigaram, it is the story of Kovilan and his wife Madhavi. It is believed that this Madhavi later on became goddess as Kannagi, especially in the southern tip of India. This Kannagi, the wife of Kovilan, is believed as goddess, mother goddess. And this Mani Meghale is also related continuation of the story Silappadigaram. The daughter of Madhavi and Kovilan is Mani Meghale, and literary work it is Jivaga Sindhamani. The Sangam age extends roughly between 300 BC to 200 AD. So, this time period of the Sangam period, it is 300 BC to 200 AD. Sangam literature refers primarily to Pandyan kingdom. So, the speciality of this literary works is that we will be able to understand about the political, social and economic conditions of the kingdoms during that period. But it also contains valuable information about the Chola, Chera and other kingdoms like Pandyans. So, we have discussed about Pandyan kingdom. So, when we come across the Sangam literary works, we will be getting the information of other 2 kingdoms of the south, that is Cholas and Cheras. The Pandyans ruled over an area comprising southern Tamil Nadu. So, when we take here, it is the picture in this map, you can see this Pandyan kingdom, it is in the southern Tamil Nadu, and Madurai was the capital. So, capital of Madurai, capital of Pandyan kingdom, it was Madurai. Cheras ruled over Kerala and Cholas occupied the northern Tamil Nadu and southern Andhra Pradesh. So, these Pandyas, Cholas and Cheras together we can understand more about in this Sangam literature. Now, yet another tribal group which has ruled India, that is Kushana age. It is believed that these Kushanas, they came from Central Asia. To specify it, it is believed that they have come from China. After the fall of Mauryan Empire, such a vast kingdom we have discussed, after the fall of Mauryan Empire, a number of foreign powers like the Bactrian, Greeks, Shagas and Parthians and the Kushanas invaded India. So, different groups of people, they have invaded India after the rule of Mauryans. They ruled in the western and northwestern parts of India. So especially they focused in the northwestern and western regions of India, because as I told, this Kushanas, they are from China, so they have crossed and entered India and focused in the northwestern part of India. The Kushanas were a branch of Yuchi tribe of Central Asia. As I told, this Kushanas, they are the tribal group, Yuchi tribal group from Central Asia. So this is a Chinese tribal group. They have conquered especially in the northwestern and western region of India. The first ruler of the Kushanas were the Kujula Cadphises. The founder of this Kushana dynasty, that is Kujula Cadphises, and he was succeeded by Bhima Cadphises. So it is believed this Kujula Cadphises has introduced copper coins in India. And coming to Bhima Cadphises, it is believed that even silver coins were in circulation during his reign. The greatest ruler of the Kushana dynasty was Kanishka, and he became the king after Bhima. So after Bhima Cadphises, it was Kanishka. You might be familiar with the name Kanishka. He was the follower of Buddhism and spread the kingdom, expanded his kingdom. Kushana conquered Kashmir and established his supremacy over the Indo-Gangetic plains. Initially, when I discussed these Kushanas, they have focused in the western and northwestern regions of India. See, coming to this Kanishka, it is believed that he was an omnipresent king. The Kushana king, Kanishka, when he became the king, he had expanded the kingdom up to Kashmir and also established a supremacy over Indo-Gangetic plains and occupied Kashgar, Yarkand and Khotan in Central Asia. So it was not only in India, even Central Asia. Punjab and Afghanistan were also part of the empire. So here I have discussed about the expansion of which kingdom? Yes, Kushana kingdom. Kanishka was a devoted Buddhist. As I told, he was the follower of Buddhism. It is believed that during his time, Buddhist council, it was conducted during his reign. Through his effort, Buddhism spread to China, Central Asia and other countries. So here you can understand that he was a follower of Buddhism. Not only that, he had spread the teachings of Buddhism to other parts of the world. That means even China, Central Asia and other countries. So he was one reason which the Buddhism has spread to the other part of the world. He was also a great patron of art and learning. I have told he was a great king. He was an omnipresent king. He had expanded the kingdom. Now he is, just understand that he was a very good king, not only very good king, at the same time he had patronage in the field of art and learning. Purushapura, that is Peshawar, was his capital. So along with this Purushapura, even Madurai was the capital in the south. Kanishka's successors were Vashishka, Huvishka and Kanishka II and Vasudeva. And here Vasudeva was the last king of these Kushanas. Vasudeva was the last great ruler of the Kushanas. After his death, the mighty Kushana empire quickly disintegrated. So after the death of the last king, who was the last king? Yes, Vasudeva, this mighty empire had disintegrated. The fall of Kushana Empire marked the beginning of political uncertainty in the North India, which continued for about a century. Do you remember in the starting I have discussed after the mighty Mauryan dynasty, Kushanas was the powerful kingdom. Here, when the Kushanas got disintegrated, see, there was a political uncertainty. There was no unity especially in the northern part of India. Now, coming to another age, which is also called as the Golden Age of India. Yes, the Gupta Age Period. It is 319 AD to 550 AD. The rise of Gupta power in the 4th century AD marked the beginning of a new era in Indian history. So it has changed the history. Confusion and political disunity was replaced by integrity. So there was political disunity. As I told, after the Kushanas, there was political disunity, but it brought stability during the time of Guptas. Confusion and political disunity were replaced by integrity. Under the leadership and patronage of the powerful Gupta monarchs, that means under the leadership, good leadership and patronage under the powerful kings, considerable progress was made in different aspects of Indian life. As I told, see, Gupta Age is called as the Golden Age in Indian history. There was progress in each and every field. There was also a high material prosperity, as mentioned by Fahian, the Chinese traveler. So, by reading this work of Fahian, a Chinese traveler, he had mentioned that there were material prosperity. So, every field, as I told, Golden Age, not only that, there was prosperity in the kingdom. About which kingdom? Yes, Guptas. Maharaja. Now, going to the founder. Who is the founder of the Gupta dynasty? Maharaja Sri Gupta is said to be the founder of Gupta dynasty. And he was succeeded by Ghadotkaj Gupta. But Chandragupta first, who assumed the title Maharaja the Raja, was the first important Gupta monarch. So don't get confused. This Chandragupta first belonged to Gupta dynasty, and we have discussed during the Mauryan kingdom that Chandragupta is different. So the first popular king, the first important king of Gupta dynasty, that is Chandragupta first. Another important Gupta emperor was Samudragupta, the son of Chandragupta first, that is Samudragupta. He is famous as the Napoleon of India. That means he had expanded the kingdom, and he is also called as the king of 100 wars. That means he had fought with different dynasties and expanded the kingdom. And at the same time, he was never defeated. The eulogy composed by his court poet Harisena, which is available as Allahabad Pillar inscription. So, to praise the victory of Samudragupta, the king Samudragupta, he had expanded about his wars and expansions. It is being described in Allahabad Pillar inscription. Gives a vivid account of Samudragupta's military exploits, as I told, about the wars. As I told, Napoleon of India. Samudragupta is famous as the Napoleon of India. About his expansions, about his victories, Harisena has written in the Allahabad Pillar inscription. It's a record where it is described about the political expansion of the kingdom. Besides being a great conqueror and ruler, he was also a poet of high order, patron of art and learning, and a musician. Not only a warrior, he was famous as a poet, patron of art, and even in the field of learning and music. He also performed Ashwamedha Yajna, a symbol of imperial authority. What does it mean by Ashwamedha Yajna? Yes, this was a practice. Even in Ramayana, you might have heard. Ashwamedha, to show the prosperity, expansion of the kingdom, kings used to conduct this Ashwamedha Yajna. Samudragupta was succeeded by his son Chandragupta II. So don't get confused. First I told Chandragupta first was succeeded by his son Samudragupta, and Samudragupta's son is Chandragupta II. So Samudragupta was succeeded by Chandragupta II. His ruling period is from 380 to 415 AD, who assumed the title Vikramaditya after his victory over the Shaga rulers of Western India. And in order to consolidate his power, Samudragupta made important matrimonial alliances. So, another technique to expand the kingdom, he had marriage relationship and expanded the kingdom. So, in order to consolidate his power, Samudragupta had made important matrimonial alliances. His daughter Prabhavati was married to Vakataka ruler Rudrasena II. Then the son and successor of Chandragupta II was Kumaragupta I, whose reign was marked with peace and prosperity. So the capital of this Gupta dynasty, it was Padaliputra. He was succeeded by his son Skandagupta, and his reign, it was from 455 to 467 AD, who was repulsed the Huns invasion several times. So these Huns, they were the tribal groups who used to go and conquer the kingdom. They never had the history of ruling or controlling the administration of that region. So this Skandagupta could overthrow this or control the Huns invasion. The successor of Skandagupta, they were the Purugupta, Buddhagupta and Narasimhagupta. They were not so powerful and competent. So like Skandagupta, they were not so powerful and competent. So we are not remembering these names of these kings. So just for your understanding, it is this Skandagupta was succeeded by Purugupta, Buddhagupta and Narasimhagupta. They are not so powerful and competent. This gradually led to the decline and fall of the Gupta Empire. So the successors of Skandagupta were weak. That was one reason for the decline of such a vast kingdom, almost conquered all over India. Monarchy was the prevailing system of government during the Gupta age. So the type of ruling, it was monarchy. The king was assisted, just understand, in the field of administration. Just understand, the kingdom was vast. I told almost all over India, the Guptas were ruling. So the king was assisted by a group of ministers called Council of Ministers. Just the way we have the administration, Prime Minister assisted by Council of Ministers. Similar to that, during the time of Guptas, the king, monarchy was in practice, and the king was assisted by a group of ministers called Council of Ministers and other officials in day-to-day administration. The Guptas had a powerful army. I told kingdom, administration, it was powerful. Not only that, they had a very strong army. The provinces were ruled by governors, similar to states headed by the governors. I told king at the center of the administration, assisted by Council of Ministers. Again, just understand, similar to the state government, here the provinces were headed by the governors. The governors had under them a number of officers who administered the districts and towns. So the governors had under them a number of officers. So governors were also supported with the group of ministers who administered the districts and the towns. So did you understand how the administration worked? Village administration under the village headman. So coming to the lower level of administration, village, it was headed by the person called Gramika, enjoyed considerable autonomy. So the power headed, the village head, it was called as Gramika. The Guptas also developed an efficient system of judicial and revenue administration. So it is believed that there was no theft during that time. Guptas also developed efficient judiciary also was there, and also revenue. They even collected tax collection was also there during the Guptas. Now, after the Guptas, we have discussed, I have told, golden period. Such a vast kingdom also declined because the successors were weak. So, slowly the feudatories head or feudal lords became powerful and they started to control the kingdom. So coming to another period, that is post-Gupta age, after the period of Guptas. Post-Gupta age, 550 AD to 750 AD. The period between the downfall of the Gupta Empire and the rise of Maharaja Harshavardhana of Dynasty is considered to be the period of confusion and disintegration. Just understand, this Harshavardhana belonged to Vardhana dynasty, was the most important or famous king after the Guptas. He, just as a feudatory or feudal lord, became powerful, and then we are discussing as post-Gupta age. So, Maharaja Harshavardhana of Dhaneshwar is considered to be the period of confusion and disintegration. In lot of confusion and disintegration period, he became powerful. During this time, India was broken into several small independent states. So, just understand, not only this King Harshavardhana, different kingdoms were emerging in the south, especially in the southern part of India. During the time of India was broken into several small independent states. So, just understand, entire India, small kingdoms started emerging. Besides the Huna power, there were 4 other kingdoms in North India. So, not only Huna power, there were other 4 kingdoms became powerful, especially in northern India. These were the later Guptas of Magadha. So, another group, it is called as later Guptas of Magadha, then Maukharis of Kanauj, and Pushabhudis of Dhaneshwar, and Mitrakas of Vallabhi. So, different kingdoms, they became powerful. Among the most important South Indian dynasties, it was Chalukyas of Badami and Pallavas of Kanchi. So, during the time of disintegrities and lot of small kingdoms emerged in the south, the popular kingdoms, it was Chalukyas of Badami and Pallavas of Kanchi. Puligeshin II and Narasimhavarman I are considered to be the greatest of Chalukyas. So, it was mainly in the Tamil Nadu region and the Pallava rulers respectively. So, popular kings of this South India, it was Puligeshin II and Narasimhavarman. It was Harshavardhana who again made an attempt to raise an empire. So, he belonged to Vardhana dynasty. So, the king's name is Harshavardhana. He was called, so this Harshavardhana, he was famous as Sagalottara Padananda. That means he had established or they expanded the kingdom till north. Uttara means north. So, expanded the kingdom till north. So, this Harshavardhana called as Sagalottara Padananda because he had established his hold practically over the whole of North India. During his time, the political unity of India was to some extent restored. To some extent, he could control the kingdom. Harsha patronized Banabhata, the author of Kadambari and Harsha Charita. So, his court poet, just understand, Harsha, his court poet is called as Banabhata, and he has written 2 popular works. One is Kadambari and another one is Harsha Charita. So, while reading this book, we are getting the political, social and economic conditions of the kingdom of King Harshavardhana. Another work, that is Huangshan, a Chinese traveler. Huangshan, the Chinese scholar, traveler, visited India during Harsha's reign. And the Shashanka, the king of Bengal, was the contemporary of Harsha. So, another in his Huangshan's work, it is written about Harsha's reign and another king, that is Shashanka. This period of history witnessed the consolidation of Hinduism. So, the Hinduism, it has spread. Huangshan writes about the existence of caste system in Indian society. So, this period of history witnessed the consolidation of Hinduism. So, it has spread. Huang San writes about the existence of caste system in Indian society. So, the Chinese scholar and writer who visited India during the reign of Harsha, he had mentioned about the caste system. So, there was caste system which was in practice. There was the rise of several mixed and subcaste. So, caste system, even subcaste was there. Huang San also mentioned the existence of untouchabilities and outcasts, backward community and the caste discrimination. It was there in the society during the reign of Harsha. The position of women had also declined considerably during this period. So here, till that time, women were getting importance. Even during the time of Guptas, Vedic age, women were getting importance. Just understand the position of women, it has declined. In the religious field, the ascendancy of Brahmanism brought about the decline of Buddhism. So the Brahmins, the superiority of Brahmins, it has reduced the importance of Buddhism. Vaishnavism and Shaivism and Jainism were also practiced. So just understand, in Hinduism, there are two groups which was formed, that is Vaishnavism and Shaivism. Vaishnavism, the followers of Lord Vishnu, and Shaivism, that is the followers of Lord Shiva. And another group, another religion, that is Jainism, also was in practice. Now, and overall, we will be discussing about Indian civilization. Indian civilization has a very important place in world history, as in early Greece and Rome. In India also some kind of democratic and republican form of government existed in ancient times. So just understand, we have seen the republican form of government in Greece. So similar to that, in India also we had the democratic and republican form of government existed in ancient times. That means people, they have selected the kings and they have come to power. We also made tremendous progress in the field of philosophy and even in the branch of science. Here we are going to discuss about that, especially this progress when we discuss, it is mainly during the time of Guptas. Indian contribution to the field of mathematics, astronomy, chemistry, metallurgy and medicine is worth mention. We have seen the Maharaja iron pillar, that is the contribution in the field of metallurgy. Without resting in Delhi, it is exposed to sunlight and rain. Without resting, it is been still as an example. Aryabhatta and Varahamihira were famous mathematicians and astronomers. So just understand, all these personalities, they belong to Gupta age. Aryabhatta, you know the first satellite of India is launched in the name of the very same Aryabhatta. Aryabhatta and Varahamihira were the famous mathematicians and even astronomers. Charaga and Sushruta were great physicians. It is believed that even they were familiar with surgery and even plastic surgery. Nagarjuna was a famous chemist as well as pharmacist. So, lot of medicines, and it is even believed that around 1000 types of fever has been discussed in their books. The concept of zero and decimal system first evolved in India. So, just understand, another important contributions during the time of Guptas, that is zero and even decimal system, which you have learned in math classes. The ancient Indians also showed great skill in art, architecture, painting and sculpture. Ashugen Pillars, caves of Ajanta and Ellora, South Indian temples are the famous stupa at Sanchi. Buddha's image of Madhura are only a few examples from the vast ocean of Indian art. We have discussed in the field of science and even literary works contribution we have discussed. Now coming to the field of architecture. Ashugen Pillar. We are familiar with Ashugen Pillar. Even in the currency note or coin, we can see the emblem, right? Our national emblem. Ashugen, that is being taken from this Ashuga Pillar. Ashugen Pillars, caves of Ajanta and Ellora, even the South Indian temples and the famous stupa at Sanchi, Buddha's image of Madhura are only few examples from the vast ocean of Indian art and architecture. Many great centers of learning were developed in ancient India, like Taxila, Nalanda, Vikramshila, Vallabhi, Kashi and Kanchi. So just understand, we had universities, famous universities where even from China and other parts of the world, they came in search of knowledge. So just understand, these were the contributions, the field of learning. Many great centers of learning were developed in ancient India. For example, Taxila, Nalanda, it is also, this Taxila is also called as Takshashila. Nalanda, Vikramashila, Vallabhi, Kashi and Kanchi. This Kashi and Kanchi is in South India, which imparted education to both Indian and foreign students. Famous scholars and teachers taught in such centers. Indian learning and scholarship was highly appreciated abroad by the Arab Muslims. So just understand, in the education field, lot of contributions it was there. At the same time, Indian learning and scholarship, it was appreciated even by the Muslim or Arab Muslims. They have appreciated. Many great works of literature were produced in ancient India. For example, Rig Veda is the earliest specimen of Indo-European literature. So just understand, Rig Veda, it is having the record from ancient time, though it was compiled very late. Orally it was transmitted from generations to generation, but it is giving a lot of information about the ancient India. The 4 Vedas, Sutras and even the 2 epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata, Smritis, Puranas, Tripitakas, that is of Buddhism, and Jaina Agamas and other religious texts are the products of ancient India. So when we read or understand Ramayana, if we take, we are able to understand about King Ram and his administration, how the kingdom was, even about Mahabharata, how popular and the prestigious kingdom we had. Smritis and Puranas, Tripitakas and in the Jaina Agamas, we are able to understand about the political, social and economic conditions of ancient India. Moreover, there are a number of drama, prose and poetic works. Great literary figures like Kalidasa, Banabhatta we have discussed, Harisena, Vishagadatta, Bhasa and Bhairavi, Shudraga and many others belongs to this period. So these contributions, it has made India popular in the outer world. Sanskrit, Pali and Prakrit literature made great progress in ancient India. So just understand, Sanskrit was popular, but actually it was famous among the Brahmins. So rather than Sanskrit, Pali and Prakrit, the language used by the common men, so this Buddhism and Jainism, these religions spread mainly because the leaders, the religious leaders, they preach in the language which was common to, popular to common men. So this Pali and Prakrit literature made great progress in ancient India. So coming to textile questions. Name at least 4 great centers of learning in ancient India. You just have to name it. Name 2 great physicians of ancient India. Coming to fill in the blanks questions. The Tamil work Tolkappiyam belongs to the dash. Dash was the capital of the Pandyas. Kanishka belonged to the dash dynasty. With this, I am concluding the session. Jai Sai Ram.